G'day guys and welcome to the Australian Roleplay Development Update number 1. We hope to bring you a range of development updates as we progress our development into building this really great community. My name's Nick and I'm the Community Manager here at Australian Roleplay, and I'm joined with Sam.
Hi guys, I'm Sam. I'm the Experience Coordinator with Australian Roleplay.
The lifeblood of our community is civilians, and I think without civilians we don't really have a community. As soon as you join our community, you become a civilian member with 2 civilian characters to choose from. These characters may be one good and one bad. It's totally up to you whether you break the law or follow the law. If you become a dedicated civilian, we give you the option of 5 civilian accounts, and of course to customize your backstory and customize some more of your civilian traits that you may have. I'll throw to Sam to explain a little bit of our standard of roleplay and what we expect in our roleplayers.
Absolutely. So our standard of roleplay here at Australian Roleplay is quite high. We are striving for a realistic Australian environment. So all of our divisions and roleplay is kind of centered towards achieving that goal. Our policies on roleplay that we don't allow is quite limited. We really give members ultimate flexibility about how they choose to conduct themselves in the roleplay environment. You can be a government employee, you can be a criminal, you can just be a regular civilian going about your everyday life, you can start a business, you can do whatever you really want in this Australian roleplay environment. We've tried to facilitate as much as we can that is realistic to an Australian environment. So even if you can establish a business and if it grows to a significant size, you can speak to our development team about getting some custom signs put in to promote your business, or some promotions like text messages via the in-game chat and stuff like that. We really encourage members to really build their characters and build their own little world in the Australian roleplay environment.
Now, as I said, civilians is our lifeblood of our community, but it's one of 3 divisions, and our other divisions include our very popular Emergency Services Agency. The Emergency Service Agency comprises of our ambulance and our fire service. We've combined these 2 services into one bigger Emergency Service Agency to allow and enable our members to get in game as much as possible. We're not duplicating the administration, where the membership services training and I guess strategic direction of these 2 services is done at the Emergency Service Agency level. It's one body looking after 2 services. Operationally, the ambulance and fire service have their own chief officers and are independent. However, they are very much in sync with each other. So I think this opportunity allows every member to experience what they signed up to do. It's get in game and to play around and act really roleplay scenarios. And we're trying to achieve that here, and I think we've got a really good balance now of administration need of having the Emergency Service Agency and what we administratively need as a division versus what we need in game and enabling our members to get in game. And I think we've really hit the right spot here.
Yeah, so by putting those 2 agencies, the ambulance service and fire service, underneath the emergency services agency, we really believe that sort of umbrella agency is really good for those 2 agencies specifically. The ambulance service and fire service, we really encourage those 2 to be independent but working together, and we believe the best way to do that is to have a streamlined management and administrative section that really ensures those policies and frameworks are consistent across those 2 agencies so that they can work together on incidents and emergency calls that requires support from both those agencies and other government agencies as well.
Our final division is our police division. Historically our larger division, with people naturally hovering to our police force. We have a really well structured and diverse police force that allows us to be flexible in our roleplay environments, from specialist commands, general duty, detectives, and highway patrol. So our police offer a wide range of skills and experiences to our members. Now it's important to note, with all these government agencies, we're not training you to be a real police officer or a real firefighter or a real paramedic. So there's no need to stress. We'll give you the skills and knowledge you need to roleplay as a police officer in game and to the limitations of the game. So you won't be dreaded in paperwork and training for hours on end. It'll be this core in-game related material that you need to know to really, be a police officer within the limitations of the game.
Absolutely. We are really encouraging the San Andreas Police Force to work closely with its counterpart agencies like the San Andreas Emergency Services Agency. And as with real life, any government agency, the higher ranks you go, the more administrative work you have to do. But the administrative work is not in any means significant. We encourage those higher ranking members to work with those other agencies to develop similar frameworks and scopes about how they expect to prepare their members for different incidents and different emergencies, and then they work to develop those training policies and training schemes that are appropriate for the roleplay environment.
To enable our government services such as the Emergency Service Agency and our police force, we have the state government. Our state government is the state government of San Andreas. It's generic to GTA 5, and we don't rename things. New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia or Western Australia or any other government in a territorial state. We're uniquely Australian roleplay, and you'll find that it works for us. We take the best out of every state and territory and make a really good roleplay environment. And I think it opens our community up to a wide range of possibilities of where we could go. To really have a good structure and to enable roleplay, we have a range of government departments. Now these government departments include our education department, our justice department and our transport department. Again, these departments are there for roleplay purposes. They may not necessarily be filled by a member of the community. They may be a function on our service portal, our gateway to our government services, or they may be functions served as a secondary purpose, such as our court system or education being online. To enable some of these government functions in-game, we have additional government services that members can participate in, such as our San Andreas Sheriffs and our State Transport Authority. Again, our sheriffs will play a really key part when our courts issue court orders, warrants, and repossession orders. And our State Transport Authority is our agency responsible for the licensing, registration, and our road network. And so our traffic commanders will play a key role in the roleplay of large incidents and large traffic incidents that we'll see in game. These are additional roles and roles that can be filled on a casual basis, but also a permanent basis as members choose. In addition to this, we also have our special constables and authorised enforcement officers. Both of these are additional roles to whatever a member may already be doing. The special constable is endorsed by the police commissioner and allows any member of the community to act as a police officer with the full powers as a police officer may have, where an authorised enforcement officer allows a member of the community to enforce a particular legislation or act, such as a fire officer enforcing fire permits to issue fines and penalty notices or court attendance notices. So again, these are additional functions of the government that allow us to expand the roleplay and also really act as an enabler in the roleplay experience. But the most important thing is, every member is a civilian. And I think we can't stress that enough. As soon as you join Australian Roleplay, you get dropped in this world of San Andreas, and it's time to live your life. Buy a car, rent a house, do what you want. It's up to you. You are a civilian. But bear in mind, the cops may catch you, they may arrest you, or if you get injured, you may need an ambulance. So those features are there. They're there to enable you, and I think Sam will agree here that civilians really are the lifeblood of our community. And it's important that everyone knows that when you're in game, you are a civilian member, and roleplay extends more than just the game.
Absolutely. We really are striving in this iteration of Australian Roleplay to put all the focus on the civilian roleplay aspect of the community. We've completely limited the administrative section of the community to just the senior leadership team. There is no other community staff members aside from the senior leadership team. All interpersonal matters that are not serious violations of community guidelines are handled by HR representatives of your respective divisions or by whoever needs to handle it at that local level. We're giving a lot of responsibility down to those divisions to assume important roles in the administration of the community in the roleplay environment. When you join the community, you're joining as a civilian. Once you're a civilian, you go into that environment, and then you can apply to join the police or the fire or the ambulance or whatever agency that you meet the requirements for. And then you go through their training to join that process, and they can If they terminate you from that department, doesn't mean you're terminated from this community. It means you're terminated from that department. You go back to just being a full-time civilian until you join some other department or some other division. So we really encourage members to treat this like a second life. This is, you are a civilian and you join the community and you act like, and all aspects of our infrastructure is generally treated like you're acting in that civilian character, your primary civilian character.
Now, to enable all these government functions, we have a central hub, and as I alluded to before, it's the gateway to the government. It's our service portal. Now, our service portal has a range of features in it that enables roleplay. And again, part of my role as a community manager is to enable the roleplay experience. And to do that, we've developed this service portal. It allows you to register and renew a vehicle. You can change your name. It will cost you a bit in relation to your in-game money, but you can of course change your name. 000, if you need police, fire, or ambulance, you will have it's like a chat box type feature that you talk to an operator. If no operators are online, there's no operators online, but if they are, you're able to talk to a real person. It's not a form and you submit, it's a real person back and forth, and it really makes another level of roleplay. And 000 in itself is really a mini roleplay scenario, because that can go any way. And when you converse and have a conversation with this person, you can look at your infringement notices, pay them, or say, I object, and go to court. If you want to register a business, you may be a civilian member and roleplay that you have a business that you're operating, maybe a taxi company, a traffic management business, whatever the business may be. If you don't have it registered, then it doesn't exist. So you're illegally operating that business. And again, these are the tools there to enable your roleplay. You may choose to illegally operate a business, and that's completely your choice. But we'll give you the tools to do it. And we're very much in the mindset that if it's doable, we will do it. So if you say, instead of saying in text that business registered, well, is it actually registered? And we'll give you a process to do that. Because again, it is doable, and I think it adds to the roleplay experience. Court is a big thing for us. We have a monthly court session, so you can view your court details if you've been charged with an offence. Court is once a month. Any member in the community can be a judge, and it really empowers members from across our community to participate in different aspects, and I guess our community administration really. Court is again a prime example where members from all over our community come together and continue that roleplay environment out of the game. Again, as I said, it's once a month. It's a very simple court layout. It's a judge, the police prosecution, and of course the defendant. The judge will hear the evidence, read the statements. They'll be very quick, short and brief sessions, get through everyone, and the judge will of course make the final decision. We have 3 levels of courts: the district court, or the local court, district court, and supreme court. Again, same format, one judge, prosecution, defendant, in all 3 courts, but it allows for an appeal system. We do have an in-game jail system, so if the judge finds you guilty, that one particular roleplay character for you will be sentenced to X amount of seconds or minutes in jail to serve, and of course, that once that's served, you're back into the game again. We're not here about locking you up for days on end and your character being locked away. We're just enabling that roleplay experience and that roleplay environment. So everything for us is really around GTA time. So if you're sentenced to 10 years in jail, that'd probably be like a few seconds, a few minutes in jail in game. You can look to apply for employment. As we said, you join as a civilian, you can apply to become a cop, a firefighter, or a paramedic, but also our other services like a sheriff's officer, a dispatcher, traffic commander. All those roles can be sorted out on our service portal through our employment section. Now you can view our legislation. Our legislation is a framework where government agencies operate out of, and where laws are written down and recorded. We could have taken any government around Australia and used their legislation word for word, but it doesn't fit our community. It doesn't fit the scope of GTA, and we need it to fit. And ultimately, we have made it so it's simple enough for anyone to understand and read. We don't want to make it cumbersome, and that it takes you forever to understand it and you need a law degree to understand it. That's not what we're trying to achieve. It's there to enable roleplay. We're not saying you have to read every legislation. That's not what we're saying at all. But having a good overview, for judges, knowing that they exist and where they can find information as a directory, but also allows our procedures across our divisions, especially for our emergency services and our police and other government agencies, to have some framework to refer to. And so, know that it's there. We do go into detail to make it, and I think it's unique to us, to what we do, and hopefully it expands and enables roleplay, and that's what all of this is here to do. We have an online learning and training records function. We provide training for all community members. There's a community induction we ask every member to do, but we also police, fire and ambulance all provide training, and we provide training for our civilians as well. So all this training and online learning is there to give you the skills and knowledge you need to play in game and to roleplay scenarios effectively. We don't expect you to know everything, and so of course we will support you and give you the training needed. And the training, as we said earlier, isn't going to be hours or hours of reading something verbatim. Yes, there may be some reading and there may be some online learning, but we want to get you in there and practically showing you what the functions and what the scenarios and how you can manage those scenarios and functions in game. You can obtain a license, whether it's a vehicle or firearm license, with licenses and vehicle registration. They all go month to month, so if you haven't renewed it for a month, it will become expired, and so again it enables more roleplay there to occur. And of course, if you buy a vehicle, step 1 is to register the vehicle, step 2 is buy insurance. If you don't buy insurance, technically the vehicle is not registered, and again that police will be able to search that, and if they see it's not insured, there's just again opens for more roleplay scenarios and enable roleplay there. So that is a really brief overview of Australian roleplay, where we're up to in our structure and what we're looking at as a structural point of view. So that is all we have today. We thank you for watching us today, and hopefully we'll bring you some more development updates shortly in relation to our service portal, our community portal, and some online assets we have. So until next time guys, we'll see you around.
Thanks, guys.